And so in blockchain, like, we were really striving for a day where everybody's going to be using it and not really knowing that you're using it. It's just, it's the underlying infrastructure of the apps that you use. You don't need to know exactly how it connects or how it works.
I'm not a financial advisor.
And the question is, how can you make money off of the presidential election? A lot of people are wondering. Obviously, you can invest in Bitcoin. That is one way to do it. But I do have to shamelessly shill a project that I'm actually in a partner with, which is RTR. You might have seen us doing some stuff with their spaces. It basically is Restore the Republic. We've been talking about it a little bit, and I told them as long as Donald Trump wins, then hey, man, I think politify. What do they call it? Politify is basically politics, financial things. Politify. Is that right? I feel like the C's in there somewhere. But anyways, we're going to say politify. And the point is that 90% of these projects went down significantly during the election, and Restore the Republic actually went up and did really well during this time. And you guys can check out a lot of stuff. It's got people involved that are big people in the space. Matt Wallace is huge in the Republican side. Obviously, Ice Bags. Kimberly Guilfoyle is Don Jr.'s fiance. She's been on several of the spaces. I've been able to talk with her a little bit. So we'll go and look. I'm always nervous looking at the chart because you never know. Maybe it went down today. But yesterday, it was looking pretty, or the last few days, it had been looking. There you go. Here's your opportunity, guys. Here's your opportunity. Down 36% in the last 24 hours after it pumped leading up to that. You can come check this out as a 7-day chart. Look, there you go. Look how high it went up during the election, man. It absolutely crushed it. I did not sell any coins during this time. I would want to be very clear on that. I have not sold one coin from this. I will sell some at some point. I do have some, but I did not sell one during this time. And obviously this shows you kind of the potential and, of maybe the politify and what's going on with it. This could be a really good opportunity right now. If you guys are interested in it, you can check it out on Twitter. I do believe, guys, Ice Bags is like a man on a mission with this thing because his reputation really got hurt by some stuff that wasn't even really his fault, I feel like. And certainly being someone who has felt like they've been in a similar situation, I relate to him. And guys, look at all the stuff I've done in my little comeback here. It's going to be kicked off when December 6th. BitBoy Bootcamp is going to be really great too, but I think that this is definitely something to check out, and it's one that I'm involved in, and I think it's going to do okay. I think it's going to do well. Not just going to do okay. I think it's going to do well during the bull run.
Do you know how it moves from website to website? Do you know all of the different networks that are included in on that? No, you don't. Nobody does. But yet you're using it every single day. And so in blockchain, like, we were really striving for a day where everybody's going to be using it and not really knowing that you're using it. It's just, it's the underlying infrastructure of the apps that you use. You don't need to know exactly how it connects or how it works. And so, unfortunately, with blockchain, like, it's so confusing to people, and you've got all these people making big investments, right? Like, big money is moving hands in crypto. Pound for pound, probably the most, lucrative, space in the history of the world. And when you look at it from that perspective, like, people are interested because of the money, and they're saying, when adoption, when adoption, when adoption. Adoption's a meme, right? Like, in the bull run, when Bitcoin's going up, everybody's like, adoption's here. Then you go in the bear market, and everybody's like, oh, we'll never use it. It's a failure. It's like, you just keep seeing the same cycle over and over and over again. And one day we're going to get to a point where things are going to reach an equilibrium. I believe, look, when I first got I got into crypto in 2012. 2017 is when I really started dedicating my life to it. I was like, this is what I want to do. This fixes the system. I fell in love with the idea of decentralization and things like that. Looking back on those earlier days, I would have told you in 2017, adoption's less than 5 years away. Definitely less than 5 years away. And it's one of those things where the longer you're in it and the more you learn about it, the further off you realize it is. So if you ask me today, I think it's maybe 10, 15 years, maybe 20 before we have full-blown adoption in crypto where all of these protocols are being used, decentralized applications are built on top of those networks, and that people are using it on a daily basis and interacting with the blockchain without even knowing they're interacting on the blockchain. I think that's where we have to move to, because right now, a lot of our decentralized applications are just, they're blah. They're just not good.
And is that what you're trying to achieve? Yeah,
over time, that's what I'm all about is adopting this new technology because it's in my opinion, is the only way we're going to save America. I really believe that. I think that we've got to get off of this fiat system where you just print money at will, because when we talked earlier about the dollar losing the world reserve currency status, that's terrifying. That's Armageddon in America when that happens. It's almost when, right?
When. It's like that actually feels like it's a lot closer than 10 to 15 years out, because it's going on right now.
Maybe if your dad comes back in and wins, maybe he can put his foot down on some stuff and maybe get tough with some of these BRICS nations, which Joe Biden, he's not ever been tough with anybody in his life, other than Twitter talking about Hunter Biden. But I think that it's one of these things where the adoption curve is going to be very dramatic when it happens, but we're a long ways away from it happening now. And I think that this is something that hopefully we can use to prevent us losing the world reserve currency. Because if that happens, the main reason we're protected in America is because of that reserve currency. Mm-hmm. When that's gone, all of a sudden we're susceptible to hyperinflation.
Oh, I mean, hey, we're going to call our 33 trillion.
Yeah.
You think FTX was a collapse.
Exactly. But we're protected right now because the other countries in the world, they have to have dollars. And so they're all motivated to keep us from going into that hyperinflation. Yeah. But when we lose that, like now all of a sudden you're looking at, what do we do now? And when you look at Germany in the 1920s, after World War I, when people were, wheelbarrows of cash.
Zimbabwe,
you look at Venezuela, where, they make trinkets in the street with their currency. They will make you a purse out of their currency.
Because that's worth more than the currency. Yeah.
Exactly, because it's absolutely worthless. We think that could never happen in America. You're right, it could never happen in America as long as we have the world reserve currency. But once we lose that, you see these BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa starting to move away from the dollar into the digital yuan. It's very scary. And I do think that the digital dollar will come eventually, and it will kind of be used to pump up demand across the world to keep the Ponzi scheme going a little bit longer with the way we print money. But it's just, the system is broken and it's got to be fixed. And I believe that crypto and blockchain is the only way that we can start holding people accountable. There's this idea that, there's so much fraudulent activity in crypto, and, Elizabeth Warren's always saying, all the criminals are using it. And there's 0.1% of all blockchain transactions are.
Well, but they use that, like you said, to Silk Road, that whole concept. They tried early on, before I even knew much of it, they're trying to make it, it's a pedophile ring, it's a drug 100%. Trafficking ring, it's all this. And so, I guess what I've learned over the last few years is the second the big government people are going after it, there's probably an understory that they're not telling you, and there's a reason for it. And that's why, it's fascinating, but it's cool to see how early we are on the curve, because I feel like, someone who's missed it, but it doesn't feel like we've actually missed it.